Fire beckoned to the collector as he walked over the sea. Ahead, a starling fluttered on the salty breeze. Black wings, leading the collector toward a bright spot of orange flame blooming on the horizon. He followed the bird with his eyes as she dipped and soared. She was darker than the night sky, a shadow flitting across gathering clouds and eluding what little moonlight shone through.
"Caladrius,"
the collector called to her.
"Slow down."
She made a turn in the air and chirped at him, impatient.
"It's not as if we'll be late,"
he said, but he hurried on all the same. The fire took shape as they approached. The collector held the brim of his hat between his fingers, craning to stare at the thick pillar of smoke rising into the sky. Hazy red light pushed the night's darkness back in all directions, save for Caladrius's figure flying up ahead. Her gliding silhouette swallowed the light, offering no reflection, giving the impression of a cutout shaped like a bird. The collector, too, was a cutout. His feet sank ankle-deep into the waves, dry despite the tossing water. He and Caladrius had been carved from the air with the same shears. Even to his own eyes, his body was nothing but a glittering black shadow, filled with the winks of faraway stars. He followed Caladrius until he stood a ship's length from the burning building, which sat atop a bare rock island. Squinting toward the blaze, the collector pressed the pad of his thumb into the wire handle of his lantern. The jar of lights. The lantern's bright, sky-blue glow paled in the face of the inferno before them. Caladrius circled back and settled onto the collector's shoulder. The two of them stared a while at the flames engulfing the building, before the collector said,
"I wonder how hot it is inside."
The starling made no sound, just squeezed the fabric of his coat in her claws.
"It was a mill."
The collector lifted his gaze as a corner of the building's roof collapsed.
"An Edrudian mill, wasn't it?"
The mill was a massive structure, tall and oblong. 5 imposing stories of brick, wood, and metal. Dirty, barred windows lined the outside, many of them broken and shooting orange flames. The collector spotted a pair of hands reaching through a shattered window, fingers gripped tight around the bars. A few seconds more, and the hands slackened, falling, smoke billowing from where they disappeared. Caladrius whistled and shifted from one foot to the other. The collector shook his head, careful not to bump her.
"Not yet,"
he said. Ahead of them, a handful of mill workers were huddled on the shore, holding the ends of their heavy aprons over their mouths and noses. One of them ushered the others toward the southern end of the island, where a slimy wooden dock extended over the sea. The collector stood near the dock, next to a line of frail-looking rowboats bobbing in the water. The mill workers rushed to the dock and stepped into the rowboats 2 at a time, unwinding the rope tethers. One pair rowed straight toward the collector and Caladrius, heading for open water. The collector, unfazed, stepped to the side to let the boat pass. He lifted the jar of lights above the mill workers' heads as they slid by, firelight glinting on their soot-streaked faces. Their gazes slipped over the collector and Caladrius like river water over a rock. When the boats had been reduced to specks in the distance, the collector nudged upwards with his shoulder to get Caladrius's attention.